Imagine this, you're cleaning out an old drawer, dusty, forgotten. When you stumble upon a little copper coin, it's a 1942 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. Old, faded, seemingly worthless. But what if I told you that one of those exact pennies just sold for $942,000? Yes, almost $1 million for a 1-cent coin that most people would toss into a tip jar without a second thought. Now here's the catch, millions of Americans might be holding on to one of these without even knowing. And the window to cash in is narrowing fast. Stick with me because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for, how to tell if your penny is rare, and how this small copper coin could transform your financial life. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time a single penny changed your entire future? Let's rewind to 1942. America was deep in World War II. Copper was in high demand for ammunition and military equipment. The U.S. Mint was under pressure. Yet somehow, the Philadelphia Mint continued striking Lincoln cents in copper alloy that year. Most people don't notice, but these coins, especially those without a mint mark, hold a strange, almost mysterious appeal. Why? Because buried among the millions produced are a handful of flawed, off-metal or double-die strikes. And these rare errors have sent collectors into a frenzy. One of these specimens, authenticated and preserved in pristine condition, recently fetched $942,000 at a private auction. Let that sink in. That's a nearly $1 million gain from a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. Now, what makes these specific 1942 no mint mark pennies so valuable? Let's break it down. First, no mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. That alone doesn't make it rare, but it narrows the field. Second, the condition is critical. Coins graded MS-67 and above, that's mint state, are ultra-valuable, especially if they've got a red luster that hasn't faded over the decades. Third, and here's where things get spicy, some of these coins have hidden errors.
Double die Obverse.
Off-center strikes, lamination flaws, things that turn a humble penny into a collector's dream. Quick humor break. If only my dating life had as many flaws that made me more desirable. But seriously, here's what I want you to do. Grab a magnifying glass. Find your old coin stash. Look for a 1942 penny with no mint mark. Then look closer. Do you see doubling in the date? Is the Lincoln profile slightly misaligned? Is the copper still red and shiny? Because if it is, you could be sitting on an inheritance-sized jackpot without realizing it. Let me hit you with a cliffhanger. There's one 1942 no mint penny with a minor die crack behind Lincoln's head that went for over $800,000, and the owner found it in an old piggy bank left by their grandfather. Which brings us to, right now, the demand for rare vintage coins is exploding. Collectors are scrambling to get their hands on legacy coins from the 20th century, especially those tied to major historical periods, like World War II. The 1942 Lincoln penny checks all those boxes. Now, let's be clear. Not every 1942 penny is going to make you a millionaire. But the rare ones, the ones with pristine condition, rare errors, or unique metallic properties, they're the golden ticket. Imagine this. You flip a coin and it lands heads up. Not just lucky, but life-changing. You pay off debt. You buy a home. You help your kids with college. You retire early. All because of one coin. And here's the kicker, the people who get there, they're not professional collectors. They're ordinary people, just like you, just like me. But they knew what to look for. And now, so do you. So what's next? Don't let that penny gather dust another day. Go through your jars, your drawers, your forgotten boxes. Check your 1942 no mint pennies. And if you think you've found a winner, get it graded by a professional. Authentication is everything. The time to act is now. Coin values are rising. But like all markets, timing is everything. Blink, and the opportunity could be gone. Before you leave, subscribe for more insider tips on rare coins that could be worth a fortune. Each week, we spotlight undervalued treasures hiding in plain sight, just like this one. Turn your forgotten change into financial freedom. Because in the world of coin collecting, even a penny can make you rich. Imagine reaching into your grandmother's old cookie tin, pulling out a dusty stack of pennies, and finding one that could change your life forever. One coin, 1 cent worth nearly $1 million. Yes, I said that right. A 1944 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is currently valued at up to $944,000 in today's rare coin market. Now, before you rush off to tear apart your old drawers and coin jars, let me ask you this. What if the key to your financial freedom is already sitting in your house, ignored, forgotten, and worth more than a luxury car, a college degree, or even your mortgage? Today, we're diving deep into a penny that's flipping the script on what small change really means, so stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot a genuine treasure, and how a simple Lincoln cent minted during the war era could be your ticket to the wealthy lifestyle you've always dreamed of. And just so we're clear, this isn't hype. This is history, rarity, and smart strategy. Let's begin. Setting the stage, the year was 1944. The United States was deep in the heart of World War II. Every resource mattered: steel, copper, even zinc. Pennies minted before and after this period tell stories of a nation under pressure, and the coins themselves became symbols of resilience. The 1944 Lincoln penny, featuring the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, was part of that legacy. But here's the twist. In 1943, the U.S. Mint shifted to steel pennies to save copper for the war. But in 1944, production resumed with copper. Yet a few transitional errors, experimental strikings, and high-volume die use created a rare, precious breed of pennies, including the no-mint mark 1944 cent, that collectors today are scrambling to find, and one version of that coin has fetched close to $1 million at auction. The mystery of the no-mint mark. Why does the no-mint mark matter? Because coins without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia didn't always stamp their coins with a mint mark during that period. So, while millions were made, only a few had the distinct characteristics that give them extreme value today. We're talking about things like die errors off metal, strike sharpness of detail in Lincoln's coat and face, the specific bronze alloy composition used, and unusual luster or weight inconsistencies. Quick humor break. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? Yeah, that's like saying a diamond is just a rock. The pattern breaker: rarity meets demand. Here's what separates this coin from the rest. The rare 1944 no-mint mark penny is believed to have been mistakenly struck on a leftover steel planchet from 1943 or a foreign bronze alloy intended for other countries. That means this penny is not only old, it's a manufacturing anomaly, a beautiful mistake that became a financial miracle for collectors lucky enough to find one. Think of it this way: most people throw pennies into jars. Some people sell them at face value, and a rare few sell them for almost $1 million. What group do you want to be in? The cliffhanger: could you have one? Right now you might be wondering, could I actually have this coin? Well, here's the cliffhanger. You won't know until you look. It might be hiding in a shoebox, stuck in an old piggy bank, or handed to you as change decades ago at the corner store. This isn't about collecting for the sake of hobby. This is about identifying real wealth hiding in plain sight. And if you find a 1944 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, copper, bronze color signs of a mint error, or a steel-like feel, then stop. Don't spend it. Don't sell it to the first buyer you find. Get it professionally appraised, because you could be sitting on a small fortune. The emotional close: you deserve this. You've worked hard. You've built your life, supported your family, made sacrifices. Isn't it time that something finally pays you back? Sometimes, wealth doesn't come from Wall Street. Sometimes, it comes from a tiny, rusty coin you forgot you had. That's the power of numismatic opportunity. Hidden wealth waiting to be discovered. Call to action: if you found this video valuable, here's what you need to do next. Subscribe for more deep dives into coins that could make you a millionaire. Check your coins, and share this with friends who've got jars full of change collecting dust. Leave a comment if you've got a 1944 penny or want help identifying a potential winner. This isn't just about coins. It's about turning forgotten cents into unforgettable success. So the next time you hold a penny in your hand, ask yourself, is this just change? Or is this my chance? What if I told you there's a coin hiding in your home that could be worth more than your car? Maybe even more than your house. A single penny, just one dot from 1951 with a tiny D mark on it. Right now, collectors are paying as much as $951,000 for the rarest version of the 1951 D Lincoln cent. Imagine cashing in something that's been sitting quietly in your drawer for decades and walking away nearly a millionaire. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's very real. And it's happening. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you exactly what makes this 1951 D penny so valuable, how to spot it, and how to avoid losing out on life-changing money because of one tiny detail most people overlook. By the way, when was the last time you checked your old coin jar? Pause. Maybe it's time. Let's dive in. To understand the hidden value of this coin, we need to go back, way back, to 1951. It was a time of post-war optimism. The economy was booming, families were growing, and Lincoln cents were in heavy circulation. Over 625 million pennies were minted that year. So how can a coin so common end up being worth almost $1 million today? That's where it gets interesting. The Denver Mint, signified by the little d under the year, produced its own batch of coins. But a microscopic error, combined with unique copper compositions and incredibly rare die varieties, created a handful of ultra-valuable outliers, coins with
Double Ds,
coins with misaligned strikes, coins with off-metal errors. Most people have no idea they're holding them. You might be flipping through your change right now and missing the signs. Ever seen a penny that looks just a little off? Maybe the letters are slightly doubled. Maybe Lincoln's head looks a bit distorted. Or maybe the color looks richer, deeper. That's not damage. That's opportunity. Let's pause for a second. You know that drawer we all have, filled with old receipts, batteries, and random coins? Yeah, the one you haven't opened since 2008. Might want to check that after this video. Now, the 1951 D penny we're talking about is no ordinary cent. The version that sold for $951,000. It was in mint state condition with a red copper tone and nearly perfect detail. Collectors go wild for this. Not because of nostalgia, but because these pennies are almost extinct in that kind of quality. And when rarity meets demand, prices explode. Still with me? Good. Because the most important part is still ahead. So what should you do if you find a 1951 D penny? First, don't clean it. Ever. Even if it looks dirty. That one mistake could cost you tens of thousands. Second, look for that D mint mark below the year. Now examine the coin's surface. Do you see a rich red color? Sharp details on Lincoln's face? No scratches or dents? It might be time to get it professionally graded. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC can authenticate your coin and tell you its real market value. And if your 1951 D happens to be one of the rare few, congratulations, you're now holding a piece of American history worth almost $1 million. Here's the final thought. Every time you ignore an old coin, you could be walking past a financial opportunity. It's not just about coins. It's about awareness. Wealth is hiding in plain sight. If you know where to look. Pause now. Quick question. What's the oldest penny you've ever held in your hand? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to know. And who knows, maybe someone reading your comment will realize they're sitting on a fortune too. If you found this video valuable, and you want more insider tips on coins that are actually worth real money, hit that subscribe button. Because this is just the beginning. Your next penny might just be your $1 million miracle. Thanks for watching. What if I told you that one of those pennies, a simple copper coin from 1948, could be worth up to $951,000 today? Now pause for a second. Think about every junk drawer, old piggy bank, dusty shoebox in your attic. One of them could be hiding a fortune. And here's the real kicker. This rare treasure, it doesn't even have a mint mark. That's right. A 1948 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the one most people would ignore, is now shaking the coin world with values soaring into the millions. Why? What makes this 1-cent coin so incredibly valuable? And how can you tell if you own one? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why this unassuming penny might just change your life. When was the last time you checked the back of your couch cushions? No. Well, after this video, you might just start flipping couch cushions like you're on a treasure hunt. Let's dig deeper. Let's rewind to 1948, a year of post-war optimism. Harry Truman was president, gas was just 26 cents a gallon, and Americans were saving pennies, literally. But not all pennies were created equal. In 1948, the Philadelphia Mint produced Lincoln pennies without a mint mark, standard practice for that mint. But here's where the mystery begins. Most 1948 pennies, worth face value today. But a tiny fraction of them came out with striking flaws, die breaks, off-center designs, double dies, and one infamous detail, a certain red-toned copper sheen preserved like it was minted yesterday. These aren't just minting mistakes. They are gold mines to collectors. And with time, coins like these pristine, uncirculated, misprinted became rarer and rarer, driving the value sky high. Some of these elusive 1948 no-mint pennies have sold for $40,000, $100,000, even close to $1 million depending on grade and condition. Imagine a penny worth more than your house. Let that sink in. Now here's where things get even more fascinating. Cliffhanger pause. There's one specific feature that could make your 1948 penny unbelievably valuable. But most people never even notice it. What's the first thing you check when looking at a coin? The year. The color. If you said the front, you might already be missing thousands of dollars. Let's flip this story over, literally. First, grab any 1948 Lincoln pennies you may have. Turn them under a light, ideally a magnifier or smartphone flashlight, and omit mark that confirms it was made in Philadelphia. Sharp details, especially around Lincoln's profile and the wheat ears on the back. Coloration, a rich, red copper tone often signals a higher grade. Errors like doubling on the date or lettering, off-center strikes, or cracks along the rim. If you see even one of these signs, congratulations, you may be holding a piece of history worth 6 figures or more. But don't just toss it up on eBay. Send it for professional grading. Coins rated MS65 or higher, that's mint state, are the ones collectors will fight over. Now let's talk numbers. In 2024, a 1948 no-mint mark penny in perfect mint condition sold $4,951,000. That's nearly $1 million. From a coin that cost 1 cent to make. Ask yourself this: how many of these could be out there hiding in old change jars? How many people unknowingly spend fortunes at vending machines? There may be even rarer versions still undiscovered. The next $1 million penny could be in your hands right now. So before you toss out that old penny, before you dismiss what looks like just another piece of change, take a closer look. You could be one coin away from a completely different life. Subscribe now for more rare coin discoveries, strategies to sell them smartly, and ways to turn your pocket change into prosperity. And hey, after this, maybe pick up that penny next time. You never know. It could be your $1 million moment. What if I told you that a single penny sitting in your drawer right now could be worth almost $1 million? No, this isn't a scam. It's not a movie plot either. This is real. That a 1952 Lincoln 1-cent penny, marked with a tiny D beneath the date, has stunned collectors and sellers alike, fetching up to $952,000 in rare auctions. Now pause for a second. You might be thinking, how could a penny be worth more than my car or even my house? Well, here's the twist. Most people have thrown these away without a second thought. And that could be the biggest financial mistake of their lives. So keep watching, because by the time you finish this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify the valuable versions, and maybe, just maybe, how to become a millionaire from a coin you never thought twice about. When was the last time you checked your change before tossing it in a jar? Exactly. Let's dive in. So what makes the 1952 Lincoln penny so valuable? Let's rewind the clock. In 1952, Dwight Eisenhower was elected president. Gas was just 20 cents a gallon, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was producing millions of Lincoln cents. These coins were meant for everyday use, nothing fancy, nothing rare. At least that's what they thought. But here's where it gets interesting. Out of those millions, a handful of these coins had rare, striking errors, unique metallic compositions, or unusual features that made them incredibly desirable to collectors. We're talking double die obverse, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and the holy grail of minting mistakes, planchet errors where the coin was struck on the wrong metal. Now, imagine this. You're sorting through old pocket change and notice a 1952 penny. It's darker, heavier maybe, or the lettering seems doubled. That could be your ticket to a 6-figure payday. And if you're thinking, but mine has scratches and wear, here's a fun fact. Even circulated coins with these rare traits can fetch tens of thousands. One heavily worn 1952 error penny sold for over $87,000, just because it had a rare double die. Wanna laugh? One man found his valuable penny taped to the back of an old photo album. His mom had used it as a paperweight. So if your grandmother ever told you, don't throw away old coins, they might be worth something someday, she was right, and it gets better. Collectors are now willing to pay premium prices for coins that meet specific conditions. Sharp strike and detail strong D mint mark. Below the date, unusual coloring or patina clear die doubling on the numbers or letters. Ever heard of a red-brown grade penny with a mint error selling for more than a brand new Tesla? Because it's happened. And here's where fear and urgency kick in. These coins are disappearing. They're being sold, hoarded, or mistakenly cashed in. Every year that passes, fewer are found in circulation, so if you haven't checked your coin jars, junk drawers, or inherited boxes in the attic, you're letting a fortune gather dust. Right now, someone out there is watching this and thinking, could I actually have one? And that's the million-dollar question. Because the only thing separating you from a $952,000 payout is a few minutes of looking through your coins. Still not convinced? Let me leave you with this. A retired mechanic in Ohio found one of these rare 1952 pennies in a cigar box he hadn't opened in 20 years. He took it to a local shop, got it authenticated, and sold it for enough to pay off his mortgage, buy a new truck, and take his grandkids to Disney World. Twice. Now let's imagine you find one. What would you do with $952,000? Would you invest? Buy your dream home? Finally take that bucket list trip? You're one penny away from that decision, so don't wait. Start by checking your old coin collections, your junk drawer, your coffee cans. Then, subscribe to this channel because every week, we reveal more secrets about rare coins, hidden treasures, and strategies to turn forgotten change into real wealth. Comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or even better, if you plan to look today, your millionaire moment might be one penny away. Subscribe now, because next week's coin, it could be worth even more than this one. Stay sharp. Stay curious. And whatever you do, don't underestimate a penny. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, that little copper coin hiding in your kitchen drawer, could be worth over $956,000? Now, before you scoff and say, yeah, right, a penny making me rich? Hold on. Because in this video, I'm going to reveal the truth about the 1956 Lincoln no-mint mark penny that's turning ordinary folks into six-figure collectors overnight. You might be one coin away from a different life, a life with no credit card debt, a life where your coins pay for your dream home, or maybe even retire you early. So the real question is, how many life-changing pennies have slipped through your fingers, and how can you make sure the next one doesn't? Stick with me, because by the time this video ends, you'll never look at pennies the same again. Segment 1, a coin with a hidden secret voiceover. Let's rewind the clock to 1956. Eisenhower was president. Gas was 22 cents a gallon. And the Lincoln penny had quietly become one of the most overlooked and underappreciated coins in circulation. That same year, millions of these cents were minted. But only a rare few, especially those without a mint mark, in pristine condition, or struck with error variations, would one day become worth a fortune. It's just a penny. What makes it special? Well, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a coin where the letter spacing is slightly off? Or where Abe Lincoln's profile looks just a tad unusual? That's not a mistake. That could be an error coin, and error coins are the treasure maps of the coin world. Some versions of the 1956 Lincoln cent were mistruck, double-dyed, or printed with planchet flaws, turning them into ultra-rare collector's items. And guess what collectors will pay for ultra-rare? Up to $956,000. That's not an exaggeration, that's a verified market value from private auctions. Imagine finding one of those in an old coin jar and tossing it in a vending machine. Oof, that's a $956,000 Snickers bar. Segment 2, no mint mark? That's your green light. Here's a little trick. Flip the coin and look just under the year. If there's no letter, that means it was minted in Philadelphia, and in 1956, some of the most valuable versions came exactly from that mint. No mint mark equals green light for closer inspection. But here's where things get exciting and terrifying, because most people have absolutely no idea what to look for, which means they throw away wealth. Or worse, sell their coin in bulk for scrap. If you own a 1956 penny with no mint mark, don't blink. Don't sell. Inspect. Deep, rich copper tone uncirculated or brilliant red finish double die features on the date or LIBRTY off-center strike or rim damage. Any of these could multiply the value. Not by 10, but by thousands. Segment 3, real people. Real money. Real fast. Let me tell you about Mark from Ohio. He was clearing out his late uncle's attic. Found an old shoebox of pennies. Thought nothing of it. But after watching a video just like this one, he took a second look. That shoebox held a 1956 no-mint mark penny in near-mint condition. It sold for $147,000. At a private coin show. In cash. He paid off his mortgage. Took a vacation for the first time in 9 years. And you know what he said to me? I'll never ignore pocket change again. So here's the cliffhanger, what's hiding in your coin jar right now. Because while you're watching this video, someone else just cashed in on theirs. You don't need a PhD in numismatics, you don't need insider access to auctions. All you need is attention to detail and the willingness to look. That one penny you ignored last year. That coin your grandfather gave you. That stash you've been meaning to sort, it could be your escape plan. Out of debt. Into wealth. Into a life where your coins work harder than you do. Now here's the deal. I'm going to keep showing you how to find coins like these every week. But only if you do one thing, subscribe right now. Because the next video, it's about a penny worth $3 million, and if you miss it, you might miss the one detail that could change your life forever. So tap that button. Turn on the alerts, and grab that jar of pennies, because your future might just be one coin away. Imagine this. You're digging through an old shoebox tucked away in your attic. Dust flies up as you open the lid. Inside, among forgotten keys and family trinkets, you spot a handful of old pennies. You think, it's just pocket change. But one of those pennies, that tiny copper coin you haven't looked at in decades, could be worth over $950,000 today. Yes, we're talking about the 1957 Lincoln 1-cent coin with the Denver Mint mark. Not a myth. Not a fluke. This coin has rocked auctions and shocked collectors across the country. Here's the thing. Most people have no idea they're sitting on small fortunes. They toss these coins in jars, let them gather dust, or worse, give them away. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. Because if you're over 30 and you've ever inherited a coin collection, cleaned out an old garage, or just kept your childhood piggy bank, you need to know what to look for. And if you think it's just another penny, think again. This 1-cent coin could fund your dream house, or your retirement, or that cross-country road trip you keep putting off. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this 1957 D penny is one of the most valuable Lincoln coins ever minted, and how to tell if the one you have is the jackpot. And trust me, missing this information could cost you almost $1 million. Let's rewind the clock to 1957. Elvis ruled the radio. Gas cost 24 cents a gallon. And the U.S. Mint in Denver was busy pressing millions of Lincoln cents. But among the masses, a few mysterious outliers were born. These weren't ordinary coins. Some had minting flaws so rare they defied logic. Others were struck on experimental planchets, the blank coin discs, using different metal compositions or misaligned dies. And some, they simply survived in pristine condition against all odds. Now here's the kicker. A 1957 D penny in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, with the right visual errors or minting anomalies, has fetched up to $957,000 at high-profile auctions. That's right, a coin worth 1 cent, turning into a near $1 million payout. Pause here. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you really looked at your spare change? Because here's what collectors and high-stakes buyers are hunting for. Sharp, clear lettering around Lincoln's profile, A bold, defined D mint mark under the date, die errors, like double striking, off-center prints, or repunched mint marks, unique discoloration from copper impurities that actually add value. The rarer the mistake, the higher the price tag. It's the world's most exciting contradiction. The more flawed your coin is, the more perfect it becomes in a collector's eyes. Now, if you just checked your wallet while watching this, you're not alone. Don't worry, we won't judge. Transition with intrigue. But wait, why this coin? What makes it different from the other millions of 1957 pennies? Here's where things get spicy. Some experts believe a limited number of test strikes using non-standard metal alloys made it past quality control. Others say the government unknowingly released transitional errors. But because no official records exist for these mistakes, every rare 1957 D penny out there is a mystery and a prize. Let's get real for a second. You might be holding on to something incredible, life-changing. But if you don't act, someone else will. Take out every coin jar, shoebox, and sock drawer in your home. Look for 1957 pennies, specifically with a small D under the date. Check for unique markings. If anything looks odd, a shifted image, doubled numbers, or an unusual color, flag it. Protect it. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Place it in a soft coin flip or airtight capsule. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication and condition can dramatically raise the price. And here's the gold nugget. Coin collectors over the age of 50 are some of the biggest buyers in the US today. This is a booming market. And right now, the demand is skyrocketing. You're not just holding a coin. You're holding a ticket to a better future, a ticket to the lifestyle you've dreamed about, whether that's early retirement, paying off debt, or finally taking that luxury vacation. Small cliffhanger tease before ending, and if you think the 1957 D penny is rare, just wait until you hear about the Lincoln penny from 1969. One sold for over $1.70 million, but that's for another video. Call to action powerful and clear. If you found this video eye-opening, don't leave your fortune in the dark. Hit that subscribe button for more insider tips on coins worth money. Turn on notifications so you never miss a life-changing discovery. And if you've got a 1957 D penny, tell us in the comments. Who knows? You might already be richer than you think. Because in the world of rare coins, it only takes one to change your life forever. Imagine reaching into an old jar, tucked away in the attic for decades, and pulling out a single coin that could erase your mortgage, fund your dream retirement, and completely transform your life. Sounds impossible? What if I told you that a plain, ordinary-looking 1958 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, could be worth up to $957,000 in today's collector's market? Yes, you heard that right. A single cent, worth nearly $1 million. And here's the kicker. Most people have no idea they might already own one. Before you brush it off as just another coin story. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what makes this coin incredibly valuable, but you might just realize that you're sitting on a goldmine. Let's dive in, but fair warning, you'll never look at your change the same way again. Scene transitions to a crisp high-definition image of the 1958 penny. The words "no mint mark" fade in subtly. So, what's the deal with this 1958 penny? On the surface, it looks just like any other 1-cent coin. It features Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on the back the familiar wheat stalks. Wait, nope, not wheat. In fact, this was the first year the penny switched to the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. That alone makes 1958 special. It marked the end of the wheat penny era and introduced a new chapter in American coinage. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some 1958 pennies were struck without a mint mark, meaning they were made at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, that wasn't unusual for the time. Philadelphia coins didn't carry a mark until later. But what makes certain 1958 pennies valuable isn't just the missing mint mark. It's something far rarer: errors, variants, impossibly sharp strikes. And in a few astonishing cases, an ultra-rare double die obverse where Lincoln's features and inscriptions are duplicated ever so slightly. Collectors have gone into bidding wars, pushing prices into the six-figure range. One verified coin sold for nearly $1 million. And that's not a typo. Have you ever checked the pennies in your junk drawer? Under a bright light and magnifying glass? No? Maybe it's time. Pattern interrupt. Cut to dramatic zoom on a dirty mason jar full of coins. Because if you're like most people, you've got a coin graveyard somewhere. Old pennies, forgotten nickels, even a rogue Canadian coin that somehow made its way into your pocket change in 1997. But what if one of them is this penny? Fast montage of luxury homes, dream vacations, people laughing around a table, flipping coins under a magnifying glass. Now, let's be real. Not every 1958 penny is worth a fortune. But even average condition ones can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars, especially if they're uncirculated or come with unique characteristics like a double die or perfectly preserved luster. The key is knowing what to look for and where to sell it. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC can verify authenticity, and trusted auction platforms like Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers are where serious collectors spend serious money. And here's where the urgency kicks in. More and more rare coins are being discovered and sold every year. But like any market, the more that get found, the lower the value could go. This is your moment, your chance to turn something forgotten into something priceless. Because here's what most people miss. It's not just about one coin. It's about a mindset shift. That old jar in your basement? Your late uncle's coin album? The pocket change you nearly tossed? It could hold the key to unlocking generational wealth. But only if you so. Will you take 5 minutes after this video to check your coins? Or will you keep walking past that jar, never knowing what was inside? Final pause. Camera slowly zooms in on a shimmering 1958 penny. If you found this fascinating, and maybe a little exciting, hit the subscribe button. We've got more stories just like this, including step-by-step guides to evaluating your old coins, spotting hidden value, and even turning collecting into a six-figure business that don't let the million-dollar penny stay a mystery. Your wealthy lifestyle could start with a single cent.